All right, let's talk about something we all struggle with. How do you get back control from those apps that just seem to suck you in? You know the one I'm talking about, that endless scrolling rabbit hole on YouTube.
We've all been there, right? You pick up your phone to do one specific thing, like check a single email or look up a recipe. You think, I'll just peek at YouTube for a second. And then, bam, you look up at the clock and a whole hour has just vanished. What is going on there?
Well, here's the thing. It's not a personal failing. You're not lazy and you don't have bad self-control. What's really happening is that your brain is caught in a brilliantly designed trap. Let's call it the dopamine rabbit hole.
Okay, so at the core of this whole thing is something called the dopamine loop. Your brain is basically wired to hunt for rewards. And when you're scrolling, every new video thumbnail is a potential reward. When you see one that looks interesting, your brain gets this tiny little hit of a chemical called dopamine. It feels good, it feels motivating, and your brain immediately goes, ooh, I like that. Let's get another one. And that's what drives you to just keep scrolling. And here is the absolute key to understanding this. The addictive part isn't really the video you end up watching. It's the hunt for the next video. It's that feeling of anticipation, that constant promise that the perfect, most interesting video is just one more scroll away. That hunt is the engine that keeps the loop going and going.
So, if we know this is how our brain works, what's the usual advice we get? You've heard it a million times. Just stop. Just try harder. Which brings us to this really common and honestly kind of damaging idea, the willpower myth.
I mean, we've all told ourselves this, right? That if you just had more self-discipline, more grit, you could just put the phone down. It treats the problem like it's some kind of character flaw, like you're the one who's failing. But that's just not how it works. Think of your willpower like your phone's battery. Every time you have to resist to temptation, you use up a little bit of that charge. And trying to fight an algorithm that thousands of brilliant engineers designed specifically to keep you engaged, that's like trying to paddle a canoe against a tidal wave. It is exhausting, and eventually, that battery is going to run out.
So, if trying to fight this thing head-on is a recipe for failure, what's the alternative? We need to work smarter, not harder. And that's where two really cool ideas come into play: Kaizen and Friction.
Let's break these two down. On one side, you have Kaizen. It's a Japanese philosophy all about making tiny, continuous improvements. We're not talking about huge, drastic changes, just small, manageable steps. And on the other side, you have Friction. This is a super simple idea. If there's a bad habit you want to break, just make it a little bit harder to get started.
And here's where the magic happens. When you put them together, you stop trying to fight a war against your own brain. Instead, you become an architect. You start changing your environment in small ways to gently guide yourself away from the bad habits and toward the good ones. You're not fighting, you're redirecting.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but what does this actually look like in real life? Let's get into the practical stuff you can do, like, right now.
Here are a few dead simple ways to add that friction. First, hide the app. Seriously, just move that YouTube icon off your home screen. Bury it deep inside a folder on your second or third page. That alone breaks the mindless muscle memory of just tapping it. Second, add a login. Log out of your account when you're done. Having to type in your password every single time you open the app is a small but incredibly effective annoyance. See what these things do? They create a pause. A tiny little gap that gives your rational brain a split second to catch up and ask, hey, wait a minute, is this really what I wanted to be doing right now? And I want to be super clear here. The goal is not to completely block yourself from ever using YouTube. It's an amazing tool. The real goal is to break the mindless, automatic, almost zombie-like habit of opening it without even thinking. You're just trying to turn an unconscious reflex into a conscious choice.
When you start making these little tweaks, you're actually doing something much more powerful than just reorganizing your phone. You are intentionally learning how to design your default behavior.
It's a huge mindset shift. The old way of thinking, the one that leaves you feeling guilty, is my brain is the problem. I need more willpower. The new, much more powerful mindset is my environment is the solution. You stop trying to fix yourself and instead start cleverly shaping the world around you to support the person you want to be. So let's just recap the big ideas here. That mindless scrolling, it's all about the dopamine loop. Trying to fight it with willpower alone is a losing battle. The smart move is to use Kaizen, those small, easy changes, to add friction, making those bad habits just a little bit harder to start. It all comes down to designing your environment for success. So I'll leave you with this question. This isn't about a massive life overhaul. It's about one small step.
So think about it. What is one tiny, almost effortless piece of friction that you can add to your digital life today to start taking your time and your focus back? Thanks for tuning in.